love becomes sinful when it's directed at that system that is anti-God, that system that is anti-kingdom, that system that is satanic.
Recientemente, el Papa Francisco está acusando de hipocresía a aquellos que se oponen a la reciente declaración del Vaticano que permite a los sacerdotes bendecir a parejas del mismo sexo. A pesar de que ha recibido numerosas críticas por esta decisión, el pontífice defendió su postura en una entrevista en el seminario italiano CRED. En la entrevista, el Papa abordó este tema y reafirmó que las bendiciones pastorales a las parejas del mismo sexo no implican una validación oficial de su estatus ni un cambio en la enseñanza tradicional de la Iglesia sobre el matrimonio. No bendigo un matrimonio homosexual, bendigo a dos personas que se aman y también les pido que oren por mí, declaró. Ahora bien, el no querer bendecir a personas del mismo sexo no nos hace hipócritas. No lo hacemos porque es antibíblico, va en contra de la palabra de Dios, va en contra de la moral de Dios. En 1 Corintios capítulo 6 versículo 9 al 10 nos dice: ¿No sabéis que los injustos no heredarán el reino de Dios? No erréis, ni los fornicarios, ni los idólatras, ni los adúlteros, ni los afeminados, ni los que se echan con varones, ni los ladrones, ni los avaros, ni los borrachos, ni los maldicientes, ni los estafadores heredarán el reino de Dios. Dios nos advierte sobre el destino de aquellas personas que practican la injusticia y desvían su camino de los principios divinos. Ahora escuchemos al Pastor Voddie Baucham, quien habla sobre este tema.
Love can be sinful. We live in the midst of a culture that needs to hear that. It needs to hear that from us. Because it's coming at us with this whole love is love mentality. And how can you be against love? Nobody can be against love. Certainly Christians can't be against love because God is love and we are called to love. Therefore, how can you stand in the way of any two people who love one another? But our text today makes it very clear that there are instances when love can be sinful. In other words, this is more than just a theoretical, theological discussion for us to have. The question is, what makes love sinful? What could possibly make love sinful? Under what circumstances would love be considered sinful? Well, first of all, love becomes sinful when it is directed at the wrong object. Love becomes sinful when it is directed at the wrong object. Look at verse 15. Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Do not love the world. Now, it's very important to note that this word world, especially in Johannine literature, is used in at least three different ways. First of all, the world can refer to all creation. You see this in John 1, John 3, John 4, John 6, John 7, John 8, over and over again. This word cosmos refers to all the world, to all the created universe. John is not saying here that we should not love this universe, this world, this earth that God created. That's not what's being said here. Secondly, the term world refers to the people that inhabit this world that God created. And God is not saying, do not love people, do not love mankind. Absolutely not. We know that it doesn't mean that. Because the love that we're called to give, even to our enemies, the great commandment, love the Lord Your God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. So John can't be talking about that first world here, and he can't be talking about that second world here. That would be a contradiction. However, there is a third use of the term world. And that third use refers to the spiritual realm that is in opposition to God and in rebellion against his kingdom. It is that third sense of world that is being discussed here. So when John says, do not love the world, he says your love becomes sinful when it's directed at that system that is anti-God, that system that is anti-kingdom, that system that is satanic. The poignant way in which this is so pertinent to our times, because of the love is love crowd, particularly in the area of same-sex marriage. How can you be opposed to same-sex marriage when same-sex marriage is just about people who love each other being allowed to express that love? But that's a love that's pointed at the wrong object. That is not a love that comes from God or that brings glory and honor to God. It is pointed at the wrong object. It is a love that arises from the wrong source, and it is producing bad fruit. Therefore, it falls into the category of love that is sinful. It falls into the category of love that does not glorify God. It falls into the category of love for that third version of the word world. Not the first. God's created order, not the second. People in the world. But that third, that system that is openly opposed to all that God is, and that rebels against the reign of God and his kingdom.
La Biblia nos deja en claro que intrínsecamente la homosexualidad es inmoral y antinatural. Bendecir a parejas del mismo sexo equivale a aprobar el estilo de vida que llevan esas personas, lo cual la Biblia lo califica de pecaminoso. Jesús nunca cambió el Evangelio para adaptarlos a las personas. Él cambió a las personas para que obedezcan su Evangelio. Como cristianos, no consentimos ni ignoramos el pecado. Hacemos hincapié en el perdón de los pecados que está disponible para todos a través de nuestro Señor Jesucristo.